Great. Chairman Merkley, Ranking Member Lummis, thank you for holding this hearing today on the Good Samaritan Remediation of Abandoned Hard Rock Mines Act. And I want to very much thank Senator Risch for your partnership and leadership on this critical issue. Across the country, old abandoned hard rock mines leak heavy metals and other pollutants into waterways every day. We've certainly seen this with the Animas River and its travails in New Mexico. These mines, which produced metals like lead and gold, iron and silver, contributed vital materials to the industrial development of our nation over the last century. And in fact, both my father and grandfather worked in this industry. But in some cases, the companies that operated these mines shut down, went bankrupt, or just disappeared, leaving behind mine sites that pollute our lands and waters. We should hold responsible parties accountable for pollution. In fact, any company that has a historical, legal, or financial relationship to a closed mine is required by law today to clean up that site, and that's appropriate. But there are literally tens of thousands of abandoned hard rock mine sites that are truly abandoned. No person, no company that was involved in the operation or the ownership of the mine still exists and can be held accountable for that site. These mines are just there, year after year, in some cases polluting our water and destroying habitat for fish and wildlife. Now, one factor that keeps unrelated third parties from voluntarily cleaning up these sites is that under federal law, liability for pollution cleanup attaches to any person or any entity that touches a pollution site for any purpose, even if that purpose is simply to clean it up. This means that organizations like Trout Unlimited, who you'll hear from later this morning, are unwilling to tackle mine site cleanup even when it's a major cause of fish habitat decline, because doing so could mean huge liability for pollution that they had no role in causing in the first place. Even state environmental departments often avoid cleaning up certain sites of abandoned mines because the liability risk is simply too great. So we need a new approach. The Good Samaritan Remediation of Abandoned Hard Rock Mines Act would create a pilot program to allow the EPA to issue no more than 15 Good Samaritan mine cleanup permits. These permits could only be issued to third parties unrelated to the mine, and the EPA would have the authority to approve or deny the applicant's cleanup plan. The permits would be subject to NEPA and other environmental laws, but would relieve the permit applicants from being legally liable for the pollution that they did not cause. This legislation has broad support, including state environment departments, tribes, mining companies, hunting and fishing groups, conservation groups, local elected officials, and many more. We now have 18 bipartisan co-sponsors, including several members of this committee. This broad support comes from the fact that our community simply can't wait any longer to start cleaning up this pollution. So I hope we can pass this legislation soon and let these Good Samaritans get to work cleaning up our lands and waters.